Caravan. This happened when I was about 11 years old. We had a neighbor, Peter. I used to join Peter when he went out for walks with his dog. His dog was a tiny West Highland Terrier named Shucks. Peter was retired and a widower. He had never had kids, and for some reason me and him got along really well. There was nothing creepy about him at all. He was just a really nice man, and we had a really nice bond. He would make miniature ships and insert them into bottles. I would watch as he carefully measured, cut, and sanded the tiny pieces of wood. When the ship was finished, I'd help him pull the string, and the mast and sails would slowly rise. "Now we're ready to sail," Peter would say, and smile. He had a shelf full of ships and bottles. One summer, my parents bought a caravan. It had been a dream of theirs to go camping for God knows how long. I remember Dad driving into our driveway and me, Mom, and my sister cheering our heads off. The caravan was really modern. It had air conditioning, really comfortable beds, and a lot of space. My sister and I spent all day in that caravan. I remember Peter popping his head through the window and asking me if me and my sister wanted to join him for a walk with Shucks. But we were really busy playing house, so I said no. Peter smiled and said, "I guess I can't compete with a brand new caravan. Have fun, kids." And he left. I felt a brief sting in my heart. I don't really know why, but I felt like running out after Peter and Shucks. But I didn't. I stayed and played with my sister. In the evening, our parents told us to come in to the house, but my sister was busy reading a bedtime story to all her stuffed animals that she had brought into the caravan. My sister refused to go back into the house. She wanted to stay in the caravan and sleep in there. "Please, Mama, just for tonight." I thought it seemed like a fun idea, and I said I could sleep in there with her. I assured my parents that I would take care of my sister. Dad left us his phone, one of those old Nokia phones that were popular at the time, in case something would happen during the night. We both fell asleep pretty quickly after that. I was woken up by the sound of my sister giggling. She was awake, playing that stupid snake game on Dad's phone. I told her to be quiet, and that she needs to stop playing the game or I will tell Mom. I took the phone and put it under my pillow. My sister quickly fell back to sleep, but I couldn't. I have a really hard time falling back to sleep if I'm awoken in the night. I lay there listening to the quietness. I tried counting sheep. I imagined some gigantic sheep jumping over the caravan one by one. I remember thinking that I had a really good imagination because I could almost hear their hoofs on the pavement outside. Then I started to feel a bit panicked. What if there was someone outside? It was quiet now, but I just couldn't shake that horrible feeling that somebody was lurking outside the caravan. I dialed Mom's number. No answer. She was asleep. Then the loudest beep in the world broke the silence, and I almost peed my pants. It was the phone. "Hello?" Dad had heard Mom's phone and called us up. "Dad, I don't think I want to sleep in here anymore." I think my dad could hear the fear in my voice, and he told me not to hang up until he was outside the caravan. He was with us in no time. He picked up my sister, who immediately started protesting, and took my hand. I felt so relieved. When we got inside the house, Dad took my sister to her room, and I went to my room. The night was ruined for me. I couldn't fall back to sleep. I knew this would be a long night, so I grabbed a book, turned on the nightlight, and started reading. I had maybe been reading for 20 minutes when I heard what sounded like people arguing outside. The sound came from the side where our driveway was, but my room was to the back of the house, and my window faced our back lawn. So even if I wanted to, I couldn't see the driveway from my window. I heard a firecracker go off and the dumpsters being kicked down. probably some teenagers messing around, or a raccoon. A car drove off, and then it was quiet again. I heard my dad running down the stairs. I thought it was odd since the troublemakers seemed to have already left. I went out of my room to follow Dad, but was stopped by my mom, who was standing in the doorway to her and Dad's room. "Where are you going?" she asked me. "To see what Dad's doing," I said. "Oh, Dad just went downstairs to use the bathroom. Come in here with me." I laid next to Mom. The bed was still warm from where Dad had laid. I could see something wasn't right. Mom was just laying there, staring up at the ceiling. Then she turned to me and asked me to wait there. She left the room and then returned carrying my sister, who was completely zonked out. "I think we should all sleep in here tonight," said Mom. She laid my sister next to me. Luckily enough, it was a huge bed. "But what about Dad?" I asked. "I'm sure he won't mind," said Mom. Mom started humming a lullaby and stroking my hair. It felt like when I was a kindergartner again, warm and safe, with my mom, not a care in the world. That blissful state was quickly shattered by the sound of police and ambulance sirens. My body stiffened. "Don't worry, baby. Just try and sleep," my mother said. "Where's Daddy?" I asked. "He's downstairs. Don't worry," said Mom. Suddenly our dad opened the door to the bedroom. "Are you okay?" my mother asked. "I'm okay, but please don't let the girls leave this room until I say it's okay." Dad shut the door, and I heard him run downstairs again. Our front door opened and then shut again. "What's happening out there?" I asked Mom. "I don't know, honey. Rats, I think." I think we both dozed off, because when we woke up in the morning, Dad was in bed next to my sister. My mom wasn't there, but I could hear the familiar sound of the radio from downstairs. Mom was sitting at the kitchen table with a box of Kleenex next to her. When she saw me, she turned the radio off, pulled out a chair for me, and poured me some hot chocolate. "You might wonder why I'm crying. Something terrible happened last night. Peter is dead." Everything stood still. It felt like someone had emptied a bucket of ice water over me. "How?" I asked, and she explained. What she told me, I've gone through in my head over and over again over the years, but it shakes me to the core every time I think about it. I feel panic, grief, and anger all at the same time. When I was laying with my sister in the caravan and thought I heard sheep hooves on the pavement, I wasn't imagining it. Someone was outside. When my dad came to get us, he must have scared the person off, but not for long. When I was in my room reading, a man was on his way to steal our car and caravan. And as crazy as it sounds, I so wish he would have gotten away with it, that he would have just drove off. But Peter was out with his dog and saw what was happening. He must have tried to stop the man, but was shot instead. The sound of the dumpsters falling must have been Peter struggling with the man. The firecracker I heard was the gunshot. My dad had heard everything but came out too late. The car and caravan were already gone. Peter was laying on the road. Dad couldn't find any pulse. He tried reviving Peter, giving him mouth to mouth, but there was nothing that could have saved him. He had been shot in the head. The man was arrested pretty quickly afterwards. Shucks, Peter's dog, had attacked the man, giving him nasty bites on his arm. He was found at the local hospital. Nobody really knew how Shucks could have reached the man's arms. He was such a small dog, but he had fractures on his ribs and front legs. The vet said he had probably been thrown out of the car when the thief was driving away. I can just see poor Shucks leaping in through the car window and digging his teeth into the idiot's arm. I thank God for me and my sister leaving the caravan when we did. Who knows where we'd be if we had stayed. The idiot had a gun and was obviously willing to kill. I sometimes blame myself for Peter's death. If I had followed him for that walk with Shucks, maybe we would have stayed out a lot longer, and maybe Peter wouldn't have had to walk Shucks later that evening. My mom says I couldn't have prevented anything. Peter would always walk his dog before going bed. I miss him a lot. The vet who took care of Shucks kept him. We were really supposed to have him, but when he came to our street, he'd run straight over to Peter's old house and just sit and wait on the porch. It broke our hearts. He couldn't forget about Peter, and neither could we.